All right, so for the first batch of articles, this is how we're gonna start the stream, man. If you are a PS4 ninja, put your fingers in your ears, don't listen, or hands over the ears, la 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 la, because I know you don't want to hear this. But for everybody else that is employed and looking forward to the future, we've got some PlayStation 6 news. Too bad it's not good. Exclusive. The PlayStation 6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive at launch. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The corporations that some of you guys spend a lot of your free time defending, who could not give a fuck about you unless you're giving $1, is finding new ways to make sure you have less value for the platform that you plan to purchase. Because if we remove disk drives, that means they are going to own all the games. If everything is digital, they can take it off your hard drive at any point. Let's read along. Insider Gaming has learned that the PS6 is planned to have a detachable disk drive when the console launches. First introduced mid-generation for the PS5, the detachable disk drive was a means for PlayStation to reduce its production and shipping costs. I call cap on that. I think it was really a beta test to see if gamers would be cool with a detachable disk drive. And if they found nobody cared, they were going to do it for the PlayStation 6, just launch it. I think this is cap. I think it was a beta test for less production cost, sure. For the next generation of the PlayStation, because you know how else this is cap too, because, oh, what's that, dude? The price of the PS5 is increasing. Granted, it is due to tariffs, but ultimately you still didn't hit your goal, so whatever. For the next generation of the PlayStation, several sources who wish to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to talk about the company's plans and they don't want to be disappeared, have said the detachable disk drive is here to stay for the next generation. Identical to the PS5 and its detachable disk drive, customers will be able to buy the console individually as a digital console, bundled with the PlayStation 6 as a traditional console, or upgrade later by purchasing the detachable disk drive separately. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction here on the stream. Now we know the PlayStation 6 will launch with 3 different versions: digital only, a bundle with the disc drive, you know, the thing that used to come with the fucking console, and then a discless one where you can buy it later. I predict that they will try to sell this version with the disc drive that comes in it as a bundle, and it'll cost like $50 more. The disc drive, I believe, for the PS5 Pro is $80. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to sell the PlayStation 6 with the disc drive as a bundle and you get $30 off. So it'll still be $80 for the PlayStation 6, maybe even $100. But they'll be like, hey, if you want to save some money, buy the bundle, and it'll only be $50 if you buy it together. Also, I pray this digital version only has at least 2 terabytes in it. Because if it don't got at least 2 terabytes in that bitch, how much you think it'll be? I think 125 alone. Well, it's 80 right now. So I think it'd still be 80. Because I mean, we're talking about 2 years away. They're trying to launch the PlayStation 6 in 2027. I know, PS4 niggas, you don't want to hear that. But the PlayStation 6 is around the corner. They're talking 2027, latest 2028, but their goal is 2027, probably holiday 2027. So since that's only like a year and a half away, because we are 6 months into 2025, I don't see the price significantly increasing unless tariffs fuck with it. Like, we still are dealing with this bullshit known as tariffs, and it might not even drastically increase the price, but PlayStation, because here's another problem with tariffs too that a lot of y'all don't understand, and that's why politics are important. Tariffs do affect the price of things, but unfortunately what corporations do is they take advantage of that as well, right? You know, a tariff is supposed to increase the price by 20-30% depending on what it is, but what the corporation will do is fuck around and increase the price by 50, 60, 70, 80%, and then be like, oh, we had to do it because it's the tariffs. No, they're hiding behind the tariff to charge you more because most of you are too stupid to know any better. Yo, shout out to Hayes with the sub, appreciate it. When the disc version of the games be like the game cards Nintendo's doing, I hope the game is on the disc, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. According to one source, unless things are changed at the last minute, PlayStation is firm on the decision because the disc drive for the PS5 hit all the company's internal targets. Again, it was reiterated by the source that the decision was made to reduce manufacturing and shipping costs during uncertain times, aka the tariff and the trade war. Meaning, I think that's bullshit. They like disk drives is not a new technology. If a disk drive was to come in the PlayStation 6, it would still be a Blu-ray disk drive because there hasn't been some new disk technology invented since the Blu-ray. First, we got the CD-ROM, the basic CD-ROM. Then we had fucking HD DVD and Blu-ray. Blu-ray won the war, and now and that's what we still have. So like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's an old technology. Anyways, those uncertain times have seemingly influenced PlayStation's decision on the look of the next PlayStation 2, as rumblings suggest that this time around the PS6 will have a much simpler design than its predecessor, again to maximize efficiency, shipping space, weight, and so on. Even as late as this month, we can expect PlayStation to introduce a new PS5 Slim revision to the market, which will launch with an 825 gigabyte hard drive instead of the standard 1 terabyte. We talked about that last stream. That's what I did for my clients. I raised prices by 30-40% and blamed high gas prices. Are you talking about finessing people? Yo, chill. Fucking chill, dude. So that's the news. I hope by simpler design, they mean for PlayStation 6. I hope they mean they get it right when it comes to turning on. Because since the PS4, I don't know what it is with PlayStation, but that bitch don't be working just for no fucking reason, bro. And the worst part is, this happened on the PS4 for me, and it's happening on the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. Fucking, it'll be, I'll turn the PS5 off, right? Then I won't play it for like 2 weeks. And then I try to turn it on, and the bitch just won't show up on the screen. And then after about 10 times of restarting my PS5, and this happened on the 4 as well, then it finally pops up and it says you unplugged the platform while it was still on. Make sure not to do that because it can harm. I didn't unplug my PlayStation. This shit just don't be working. Yeah, the HDMI issue. That's one thing I will give to Xbox. You press the power button, that bitch turns on. I don't know what the fuck is the issue with PlayStation, man. Sounds like a bad HDMI. It's not. I got a closet full of HDMI cables. I be switching them bitches out. It's the fucking PlayStation. Get it together. Figure if you're talking about simpler design. I also hope it's not big as shit too. I hope it's actually small, but who knows? Closet is crazy work. Yeah, I don't be throwing away cables and stuff like that I get with tech. I keep it because you never know when you're gonna need an extra USB-C, HDMI cable, whatever. I go into the tech closet. My girlfriend make fun of me because I got a tech closet just full of shit. But it ain't funny when she needs something. When she spilled coffee all over her fucking keyboard and I had 4 keyboards in that bitch because companies be giving me free shit. Well, it's not funny now when you do mouse and keyboards. Absolutely, I don't throw shit away. Them cables you be getting like in products and stuff, if I don't need the HDMI, I just throw it in the closet because I might need it one day when my HDMI break down. It's not the HDMI because it happened to me on the 4 and the 5. Yeah, it's a tech issue, period. Yeah, I got a nerd closet. Absolutely. That's how my original PlayStation 5 bricked. I put it in rest mode, tried to turn it on, it was done. It just stops working. It's a waste until you need a replacement. Ding, 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 ding. So don't throw away your tech. You never know. Let me find out y'all just throwing away cables and shit like that, bro. You don't put that shit in a Ziploc bag and so it don't get dust on it or in it and then throw it in the closet. You just never know you're gonna need a replacement cable. What microphone do I use? I use an SMB Shure 7. SMB7. Sure, SMB7. Next bit of news I got for you. Former Bethesda executive says gaming subscription services are worth jack shit without proper support from game developers. AKA shots at the Game Pass. And to that I will say, before I even read this article and get more context, just off this headline alone, to be fair, aren't games as a whole worth jack shit if it doesn't get proper support from game developers? I don't understand. Like, what? Anyways, Bethesda Softworks former senior vice president of global marketing and communication, Pete Hines, says gaming subscription services like Xbox Game Pass are worth jack shit if the game developers who create content for them are not properly supported. The ex-Bethesda figurehead, who announced his retirement in 2023 after 24 years with the company, opened up about the state of the gaming industry during an interview with whatever this is. In addition to touching on early days of the company behind Fallout and The Elder Scrolls, Hines spoke about what he feels the future of services like Game Pass look like. Shout out to Slim Reaper with the sub. Shout out to Ratlanta. He admits his retirement from Microsoft-owned Bethesda means his view on the matter may not be up to date. However, Hines says he witnessed what he considered to be some short-sighted decision-making several years ago that now appears to be bearing out the way I said. Subscriptions have become the new four-letter word, right? You can't buy a product anymore, Hines said. Yeah, you can. You can't buy the product. It is harder to find the physical products, though, I will say that much. When you talk about a subscription that relies on content, if you don't figure out how to balance the needs of the service and the people running the service with the people who are providing the content, with your subscription is worth jack shit, then you have a real problem. That tension is hurting a lot of people, including the content creators themselves, because they're fitting into an ecosystem that is not properly valuing and rewarding what they're making. Gamers have discussed the viability of platforms like Game Pass since its launch in 2017. While a service flooded with hundreds of games for subscribers to play sounds like a dream come true for players, how the developers behind these games receive support has been hazy. As Game Pass pushed forward in the early 2020s, the PlayStation eventually established its own PlayStation Plus-centered competitor. More question marks popped up. Former PlayStation boss Sean Layden is one of the many who recently critiqued the gaming subscription model, calling the Netflix of gaming idea a danger that has him questioning if it's healthy for a developer. And you know, I understand where they're coming from, but ultimately, and this is where I gotta say, like, y'all gotta be careful as consumers listening to this shit. Never forget, your job as a consumer is to find the best deal possible for yourself. So if it's Game Pass, you're finding good value in it, cool. If these devs aren't being treated the best or whatever, you know, it's unfortunate, but ultimately it was their choice, and I cannot say this enough. It was Bethesda's choice to sell to Microsoft. Don't get mad at me, because I like the Game Pass, because Microsoft, the billion-dollar-plus company, isn't supporting you correctly. You sold out. Figure it out. I don't give a fuck. Figure it out, nigga. Who gives a fuck? That's what I say. Oh, woe is me type shit. You shouldn't have sold out. This is an age-old story in any type of business where you have somebody footing the bill. If you are an artist, a musician, and you sign to a record label, you know what comes with that. Even if you get a good deal, they're gonna start prying into your creativity. You knew what came with that shit, but you couldn't turn down that 7 billion, 10, no, what was it, 20 billion they got paid? Oh, we feel so bad for Bethesda. They got $20 million. Man, that's the fuck up, bro. I want to hear this shit. Figure it out. And if they collapse under the weight of Microsoft, it's gonna be unfortunate. I don't want it to happen. But don't forget it was their choice, chat. Don't forget it was their choice. And Sony hating on it because they didn't do it first. Hey, you might be on to something, bro. You might be on. Yeah, Bethesda signed a 360 deal and now it's not working out the best. But even still, I don't know. I don't think Microsoft had anything to do with how shitty Redfall was. That was a Bethesda decision, I think. They turned it into Drake. Right. I don't want to hear that shit. As long as this shit is giving me value, I'm gonna pay for it. Wow, wow, wow. We get a first look. Bro, you are breathing on me, dude. What the hell? We get a first look at the PS4 version of NBA 2K. If you guys are curious, PS4, Xbox One. If you guys want to see some footage of what it's looking like on last gen. I love the music. I love the sad music. This has to be Cap. No, this is really the PS4 version. I looked it up on YouTube. This is really what it looked like. Nobody's in the city playing, bruh. If you go into the ante-up, which for those who don't play 2K, ante-up is where you get to basically gamble. So like you can play for money. So like they have courts for 10,000 VC, 5,000, 2,000, and whoever wins gets to keep the VC. If you are playing ante-up on last gen, you need to buy, you have money for a PS5. And this is what I'm talking about, bro. This motherfucker ran to the ante-up camp court to gamble. You have money for a PS5. You just don't know it because you keep buying fucking microtransactions. Oh no, nobody's on the servers. No. This motherfucker bought almost 200,000 VC for the PS4 version of fucking 2K. He about to upgrade that player and he ain't got nobody to play with. This is insane behavior, bruh. Thanos snapped his fingers. That's why it's empty. and just nobody's on that shit. Damn, man. It doesn't carry over. No. I think people would be less. I think if VC carried over, like if you had your account, like your VC that you didn't spend from last year carries over to the next year, I think people would be less mean to 2K, but they're so greedy. No, it doesn't carry over. He bought that shit. I just watched this today. So yeah, if you're playing on PS4, you're playing on Xbox One, you're trying to, get into 2K. That's what you have to look forward to. A brown shirt and nobody to play with. This has got to be studied. It's got to be studied, man. It's got to be studied. What does the PS4 2K player mic sound like, TBH? Oh, I got you.
What's up, everybody who's trying to get in the PS4? Hey, man, why can't we get the Discord on PS4? Is my PS4 not powerful enough to fucking do Discord? That shit lame, bro, because honestly, I feel like my 13-year-old console, yes, my 13-year-old console that's about to start middle school, 8th grade, I think it can run Discord, but, like, I don't really know a lot about computers.
Anyways, Nintendo news. Nintendo only creates a new IP when gameplay doesn't fit existing franchises, former developer says. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And for Nintendo, the company still relies on its legacy IP when it starts to develop new games. While we've seen multiple studios and publishers launch new brands over the years, Nintendo has largely stuck to the classics for its new release, and it often doesn't see a reason to build a new IP. Why? According to a former developer, gameplay comes first and the wrapper is chosen based on which fits the project best, which makes sense because from my understanding, Super Smash Bros was originally a new IP. I think there's beta footage floating around on YouTube where it was just like people, and then they thought, oh, we should put our Nintendo characters in it. So that makes sense. They do the game first and then they figure out which character best fits that. I guess the only problem with that is I think it stifles innovation, and I think Nintendo is going to have a problem pretty soon because, and I'm not wishing this upon them. How old is Miyamoto? Ain't he in his 70s? I don't know how to spell his name. Yeah, he's 72. He's getting up there, bruh. Old boy passed away like 5-10 years ago too, right? The last president, I forgot his name. Was it Iwata? The Nintendo legends are up there, man. I don't know what's the next generation to lead Nintendo, and yeah, Iwata. I don't know who's the next generation of people in Nintendo to lead and create new. Like I'd argue this is the perfect time to introduce new IPs to Nintendo because it's a lot of kids out here that are getting into gaming that don't have an affinity towards Mario. You got Gen Alpha coming up and like the younger Gen Z, they don't have an affinity towards Zelda. Some people think it's corny, to be honest. So this is the perfect time, I think, to introduce new IPs. That's the only issue. I think it's a good design philosophy. I just don't want to see them get too caught up in it. New franchises haven't come out simply because there's no need to make them. Former Nintendo software developer Ken Wadabe said to Bloomberg, when Nintendo wants to do something new, it's basically about the gameplay mechanics first, about creating a new way to play. As for the skin or the wrapper, they don't really fuss over it. They just pick whatever fits that new gameplay best. Nintendo will then find the right franchise that fits with the new gameplay mechanics that is developed, but in the rare instance that it can't, the company will consider making a new IP, which is very rare because we don't get that very often. One of its newest properties technically is Splatoon, which first launched in 2015 for the Wii U. While Nintendo attempted, the last new IP from Nintendo was on the fucking Wii U, Jesus Christ. While Nintendo attempted to use familiar faces in the third-person shooter game, it simply didn't work out, and the company decided to create a cast of inklings to carry the series forward and better communicate the ideas of the games to the people. From Software's Dust Bloods from to put Nintendo on his back, type shit. I'm not mad at that design philosophy. I think they just a little too stuck in their ways, because like another example I can give is like, remember what's that Peach game that came out last year? Peach, I cannot type. Game for Peach Showtime. Yeah, Peach Showtime. Yeah, I remember this came out last year in 2024, and this game was just like a bunch of different mechanics. Like, why was Princess Peach the star of this? I don't understand why was she doing kung fu? Like, why couldn't this be a different game and like a swordsman and shit? I don't remember this game. Yeah, this game kind of just came out and didn't really do anything. And I think that's why it felt kind of weird that they put her in this situation. This could have been a new IP that might have generated more hype I deadass forgot about it. Yeah, it was like a 7 out of 10. It got decent reviews. Are you gonna check out Dragon Ball Genshin Squadra? I believe it drops tonight. You talking about that MOBA? Nigga, what is it? 2014? What do you mean they got the wheelchair game? I mean, technically that is a new IP. That's one of those things though. Who asked for that? The wheelchair game. Like, chill out, bro. We don't play MOBAs, bro. The fuck is 2013? Yeah, I'm gonna boot up Smite too while I'm at it. So yeah, that's, if you're wondering why we don't get a lot of Nintendo IPs, it's because they focus on gameplay first and then they just add one of their known IPs to it. But I wish they would get away from that and just put out more. Like, can we get like one new character once every 5 years at least? Like, you know, I don't feel like that's too much to ask Nintendo. This is gonna get a point, I feel like, where people are gonna get tired of this shit. Nintendo is holding Switch 2 dev kits from free-to-play developers, says CEO. The accusations against the Nintendo Switch are mounting. First news came out that Elden Ring ran like dog shit. Then news came out Borderlands 4 ran like dog shit. Then news came out from some anonymous developers who said they are struggling to get Switch 2 dev kits, so they want to put their game on the platform, but they can't because Nintendo's not handing them out. And now we're getting another report corroborating what some other developers are saying. Nintendo is holding back Switch 2 dev kits from free-to-play developers. That is, at least according to Stryker CEO Eugene Nashloff. During a briefing with the media attended by Football Gaming Zone on Monday, Nashloff was asked about the studio's free-to-play soccer title UFL coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. That question was met with an answer that seemed to place blame on Nintendo for it not being further along. The Switch 2 version is not yet in development, but it will be. As of right now, Nintendo is not very much actively giving development kits to free-to-play developers. That's a global trend, and we're part of that. Once we have our hands on the new device and we start working with it, then most likely, yes. Earlier this year, he also said the studio had been placed in order for dev kits, but as of now, those kits still haven't been sent out. It's not just strikers and free-to-play studios without them either. The word going around at Gamescom was that many studios, including some major ones, still didn't have them, and Nintendo was pushing releasing on the original Switch with backwards compatibility for the new system. Is Nintendo being developer elitist? That might be a good thing for quality control. Yeah, but I think right now, with the Switch 2 just coming out, I think they just need games, period. It's kind of hard to justify buying a Switch 2, Matt, to the point where I'm seeing people saying that Sonic racing game is about to kill Mario Kart World. I never would have thought in my 35 years on Earth I seen people switch on Mario Kart, but people are not really fucking with that Mario Kart World, bro. So the only game right now on the Switch worth getting is Donkey Kong. People are calling that the Mario Kart killer. I've seen that sentiment on social media. So like, I'd argue right now they just need a reason to get people into the Switch, because right now I don't see a reason to buy the Switch 2 until that Dust Bloods game comes out. When Dust Bloods comes out, then I'll get that in Donkey Kong. But I'm not buying a platform for one game, especially with one game where the frame rate be dropping on that damn Donkey Kong or whatever. Yeah, where's Diddy Kong Racing 2? Apparently the last update ruined Mario Kart. What's wrong with it? What'd it do? Pokemon's a Switch 1 game. They just porting it to the Switch 2, but that's a Switch 1 game, man. I think a lot of families just buy Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. I'm not buying fucking Switch 2 for Pokemon. I don't even know if I like it because they changed up the formula. I gotta wait for the reviews and shit. This is interesting though. So if you're wondering why we haven't really seen too many other games being announced for the Switch 2, it just seems like it's hard to get a dev kit. Not for the Zai. Nah, I'm not really tripping off the Zai right now. Other news. Yeah, it's time for a Star Fox game. I don't know why they be switching up on Nintendo switch up on the Star Fox. What the fuck is that? Amazon's God of War TV series will finally start filming early next year, new report claims. Amazon's God of War TV series will commence filming in March of 2026, so right around the corner. That's according to Nexus Point News, which reports that the filming of the series, which will follow Kratos' dangerous journey with his estranged son to fulfill his wife's dying wishes and spread her ashes from the highest peak, is finally slated to kick off in Vancouver, Canada next March. Sources told the site that casting for the show is currently underway. I thought they would have had a Kratos and already picked. If you're supposed to film March of 2026, That sounds to me like they about to hire the actors and they're gonna build the plane and fly that bitch immediately. They're not even gonna test the plane. There's no time for anybody to build any type of chemistry with one another. I don't know about that. You asked them to switch up the formula in Pokemon, did you not? Yeah, and I'm gonna still wait for the reviews. I'm not gonna buy it day one. I'm gonna wait to see what's the general consensus on it. I'm not saying I wouldn't play it. I still gonna see. That's why I'm interested in it, but I'm not gonna buy it day one. They should get Wings to play Kratos. Yeah, 600. Amazon initially announced this God of War adaptation back in December of 2022 series. Just yap. So I mean, if you're filming March 2026, I wouldn't expect the show to come out until probably top of 2027, earliest late 2026. It depends on how the shoots go, because there could be reshoots. It could be a smooth process where they get everything done in one shot, you know. I doubt that, but I think probably 2027 this is probably going to come out if you're looking forward to it. But it's coming. It's coming. You know, they cast in The Rock. Yeah, I'm not watching it. If they announce The Rock as Kratos, I'm not watching this shit, bro. I know that shit's going to be ass. Interesting news. Steven Spielberg, world-renowned movie director, reportedly wanted to direct the Call of Duty movie. In case you didn't know, Activision has officially given Paramount the green light to produce a live-action adaptation of COD. While that in itself might be exciting news for franchise fans, did you know that there was a possibility at one point that the legendary Steven Spielberg would be the one to direct it? This isn't something that suits at Activision were pushing for either, as Spielberg himself is a fan of the Call of Duty franchise. Let me find out. Spielberg is a gamer. The report comes from Puck, who mentions that according to 3 sources, Spielberg allegedly wanted to direct Call of Duty given the director's endearment for the franchise. The deal breaker? It's said to be top of market economics, Final Cut and full control over production and marketing that spooked Activision, which is now owned by Microsoft. Oh my God, that's bad news. Call of Duty, the game that's been just blah for the last 10 years, had an opportunity to get one of the greatest directors of all time. We're talking Jaws, Jurassic Park. Fucking, didn't he did Saving Private Ryan, right? This man has classics upon classics. Like, and all he said is, I want creative control. Nigga, you give the nigga creative control. Like, what? Oh, nah, that's kind of, I don't know, man. That's a yellow, that might be a yellow or red flag. Like, oh shit. Oh man, I don't know about this one, chat. I don't know about this one. That's, you give him creative. There's certain people, I think he had his resumes long enough where he's proven himself. And on top of that, I think I would understand Activision's standpoint if he wasn't a gamer, but he's made it very clear that he is a fan of Call of Duty, so he understands the product. He understands the fan base. He's already made probably the greatest World War II movie of all time. So you know he can bring that Call of Duty to the film. This might be an L, chat. So now we're gonna have to keep an eye on who is gonna be the director, bro. Like, we're gonna have to keep an eye. This is a crazy fumble, bro. Unless they get somebody cool. Unless they get somebody cool. But I'm gonna tell you right now, man. If they come out and they be like James Cameron's fucking Call of Duty, or what's the nigga, Michael Bay Call of Duty. The action might be good, but the story won't be if it's Michael Bay. No, thank you, bro. No, thank you. Shit, they come out with fucking Ryan Coogler's Call of Duty. That might be cool. We can get a movie on the Harlem Hellfighters. But then it might sell bad because then there's a bunch of niggas in there. You know, people are racist, unfortunately. Zack Snyder's Call of Duty, bro. You'd have to pay me to watch that fucking movie, man. I wouldn't watch that shit. Like, that's fucking funny how he did make Saving Private Ryan. He also made Band of Brothers too. I didn't know he directed Band of Brothers. Indiana Jones. Like, this dude's resume is crazy. Boo. Jordan Peele's Call of Duty. That should just be a weird. Well, you know, no, actually, Jordan Peele Call of Duty could work. Jordan Peele Call of Duty could work if they did Black Ops. Because Black Ops is a mind fuck, and that's what Jordan Peele likes to do. That actually could work. That could work. That could work. Yeah, I was trying to be funny. But that could work. That's the first match. Tyler Perry's Call of Duty. Trump said we going to war, so I'm gonna put my combat boots on. Let's go to war. Oh my God, you'd have to pay me to watch that shit.